Morning News.
This morning, Dr. Kim Grandinetti is here to talk more about the flu and the vaccine. So last year proved that the flu is more than a bad cold. So thank you so much for getting up early and talking to our viewers.
Thank you, Rose. Thanks for having me. First, I think I just want to clarify the difference between a misnomer. A lot of people will come in and say they've just had the flu and it's the stomach flu. That's more of a vomiting, diarrhea illness, much more self-resolving, not as severe. Whereas true influenza A or B is a respiratory illness that can cause much more significant disease and complications. So last year alone, in the 2017-18 flu season, we had over 49 million cases with 960,000 hospitalizations. That number alone is more than the staffed hospital beds in the United States. And there was 79,000 deaths. So currently, when we were looking at the statistics this year, it's looking like 40% only of the adult population is going to be getting their flu vaccine.
So, okay, so that's a really low number. And we know there's benefits to the flu vaccine. If you could talk a little bit about that, and why is that number still so low?
Yeah, first I think the number's low because it's not a perfect vaccine. We have to guess every year. So this year's vaccine is covering 4 different strains. There's 3 or 4 different types that it's covering. So we try to get the strains that are going to be most likely disease that following year or cause more significant disease the last year.
Okay.
So people, if it's not perfect, they're like, why get it? But if you look at the benefits, it significantly reduces hospitalizations, serious complications, death in children. And then if you have comorbid diseases such as cardiac disease, lung disease, you're immunocompromised, you're pregnant, those risks go down significantly for hospitalizations, 40% less likely to be hospitalized if you're a pregnant woman, and just protecting also other people who can't get vaccinated, such as young infants, immunocompromised people, and overall just the benefits not only for you but the community as well.
Okay, so talking about the benefits, so how do we get that number up a little bit and sort of, you know, put their mind at ease about getting vaccinated?
Yeah. I think the number one thing is the flu shot can't make you sick.
Okay.
So there is now the live virus vaccine, the flu mist that we haven't had for a couple years. That one can cause a little bit of disease, so you can get a little sick with that, so we don't give that to immunocompromised people or people with lung disease, asthma, heart disease. But the flu shot in itself cannot make you sick, so I think that's one thing, is educating people to let them know. Letting them know the benefits, and last year there was a great study that finally proved that if you actually get your annual flu vaccine, even if it's not the strain, just your annual cumulative getting that vaccination has significantly shown less complication, less hospitalization if you do get that illness.
Interesting. Okay, so since we know, we're in the holiday season, the CDC says the numbers of people who get vaccinated sort of taper off in November or in December. Is it too late to get vaccinated?
Not at all, not at all. In fact, the flu season does not really start in our area, and you'll have a few cases in November and December, but it really peaks in January, February, and March. January and February being our highest months. And as we come into the holiday season with travel, more people together, the risk and numbers of disease goes up. So there's going to be more cases coming up. So you actually want to get your flu vaccine now, and overall it takes about 2 weeks until you're protected. So it's recommended before you go on any flight or airfare or travel, you want to get that vaccine at least 2 weeks before.
Okay.
But now is a great time to go in and get your vaccination.
And I think even people around here, some people have already been sick, so they feel like, so who should get vaccinated? And I also know there's a double vaccination before we have to wrap.
So everybody over 6 months should get vaccinated.
Okay.
Between 6 months and 8 years of age, if you've not received a previous flu vaccine, you need 2 doses 4 weeks apart. So with those new children who have not been vaccinated, you want to get it sooner, so you can get that second dose 4 weeks later, and then you can be protected 2 weeks after that.
Okay.
And there's no restrictions. So.
Great.
Yeah.
And before we have to wrap, real quickly, the option of the nasal spray.
Yeah, the nasal spray. So we tend to use it for people who don't like vaccines and shots, like kids who have huge needle phobia. Currently, the studies show that it should be as effective as the shot. We haven't been using it for a couple years because it wasn't as effective about 3 or 4 years ago, and so they pulled it until they could figure that out. We won't know the numbers until the end of the season, but currently the studies show it's just as effective.
So if people are watching and need more information, where can they get more information?
Yep, the CDC.gov or the American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP.org.
Okay, great. And I know you are seeing new patients in
Yeah.
town right here in Spokane. And for sake of time, we do have to wrap, unfortunately, but we're going to jump over to Facebook Live and we're going to talk some more to Kim and with Dr. Grandinetti, and we will be back with more Creme 2 Morning News after the break. Thank you so much.